What's up, Tweeners? Welcome back to another Tweener tennis video today here on the channel. And today we have a very special guest. We have Coach Todd from Case Western Reserve University. And yes, this is the coach that just took his team to the D3 Indoor ITA National Championship and won it too. This guy has a huge amount of resources and a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to coaching kids and coaching one of the best programs in the nation when it comes to Division III tennis. And I was just very grateful that he was able to come on and do this with us. And make sure to go show him love as well as the school by following them on their social medias down in the description below. And enjoy this video. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of this month and the end of March as I'm recording this. So make sure to leave a like on this video to show your appreciation and consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. But now, enjoy our interview with Coach Todd. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. It's not every day we get to have a national champion on our channel. And today I was just very happy to have you on and just talk about the experience and who you are as a coach as well. And I just wanted to say thank you and welcome to the channel.
Yeah, again, thanks again for having me. Thanks for covering college tennis and just providing more and more content that we can get out there to help grow, how awesome it is to come to these college matches.
No, it's amazing. And now that we're doing our own college tour this year, I've been trying to get as many college coaches, former athletes, and we're doing our whole facility tours as well this year. We're going to Illinois on Thursday, on this day of recording. So just being able to have someone like yourself with the experience and the knowledge, and now a national championship, it's amazing to see you guys kind of flourish in this environment. So let's just get straight into it. I mean, walk us through your first initial thought when you were going into nationals. Was it go and win, or what was the original goal going into it?
Yeah, I think one of the hard things is making sure that you don't talk about winning titles or, winning a national championship or, having those things that are kind of like higher up the mountain. One of my best friends is Brian Kanyeko, and he's the head coach at UCF Women. And I was talking to him earlier in the week, and I called him and I was like, you guys have been winning the conference, last few years, and you've been having a ton of success. Like, in all the years that I've been coaching, we've won individual national championships, but we've never won a team one, and we've never really sat on top of the mountain. And I told him that the past couple of months of my life have just been a big giant ball of anxiety and, not really knowing, how to be the hunted and how to behave, like when, you just have these high expectations. And, what he told me was, the one main thing that he always likes to remind the team is like, your ranking, your seeding, you're the number one seed in this tournament, or you're ranked number one. Like, that's not your team. You're there because of a different team. Somebody else did that. And so that hopes to give them the perspective that they're going to go and face these challenges, that they're going to, need to prove something for themselves. So I thought that was a really good conversation I had with Brian, and BK, he helped me out a lot early in the week. And then, our whole theme this whole year has just been, we're climbing a mountain, and each stop along the way, we get to hitch our tent to the side of the mountain, and we could take a break at national indoors, spring break, our conference tournament, NCAAs. I mean, we just have so much tennis to play compared to what's happened the last 2 years. 2020 getting cut short, 2021, it was like we didn't get started till later. We had all these restrictions. We didn't get to play as many matches. So we're playing a ton. And so it's like, all right, this is a stop along the way. And then I'll just finally end with, as soon as we won the semifinal, I was talking to my captain, John Powell, and I was like, I don't think we say the word national championship one time for the next 24 hours, because at the end of the day, we're playing one of our main rivals, Chicago.
Yeah.
And we hadn't beaten them in like 4 years. So, to us, it was like, look, we're playing Chicago. Like, that's all we need to know.
Yeah, it's true. And it's funny that you say that in terms of kind of, it's not necessarily like a superstitious thing that you say to your players, right? It's not like you're trying to manifest that idea of we could be national champions. It's just kind of focusing on the moment and the process of which you can go through. Because even though you didn't say national championship, did you talk about how you haven't beat Chicago in the last 4 years to the team or no?
100%.
Oh, wow.
It's basically all we talked about is we saw them in the fall. We played a hidden duel in the fall, and they were so riled up. I mean, they didn't get to play NCAAs last year. They didn't make it into the tournament. So, and that was due in large part to a lot of the COVID things that hit them. They had a lot of canceled matches, which didn't qualify them. But they added the number one player from Johns Hopkins. And their number two guy was he was at UVA. I mean, he was top 5 in the country junior, blue chip player. Those guys weren't on the team before, Exactly. So we knew they had a ton of talent, like tons of talent. You think about it, we had 2 5-stars facing off against each other at third singles in a Division III match.
Third singles, and you're playing guys that could have gone easily Power 5 D1 conference.
Right, for sure. So, we just kind of talked about Chicago. Now, I do have a really funny story.
Go for it, please.
So the only reason that we get to host this event at home is because there's this guy named David Dickinson that gives us a lot of money to pay for the court time, to pay for the officials. There's so much money that goes into hosting this thing.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And so David Dickinson, he played number 1 at Virginia. Oh, wow. So Andres knows him. He gives a lot to UVA tennis as well. So it's the day before the final, and he's telling my wife a story, and he says, "You got to make sure you share this with Todd."
Great sign already.
His dad was the captain of the Princeton football team in 1922.
Oh my God.
So this year is the 100-year anniversary that this guy, David's dad, David, was the captain of the Princeton football team. In 1922, the University of Chicago was unbeaten and number 1 in the Big Ten and defending Big Ten champions in football. And Princeton pulled off a miraculous upset and beat University of Chicago to beat the big bad unbeaten, as he said.
I love it.
And so I walked into the building the next morning, and we're getting ready to warm up, and I told the guys, I only needed to tell you one story, and this is the only thing that matters. And I told them that story, and I was like, so I think we're going to win today. So let's just go have some fun.
Love that. That's so, like, that was just in the back of his mind, too. Like, that was festering, like, round by round. Like, if this happens, I have to tell them this story.
Yeah. 100-year anniversary. Just crazy,
Hey, the stars aligned, and you guys did it. And I actually wanted to talk to you about that kind of pre-match kind of routine that you guys go through too, because one, it's not every day that you get to talk to someone who has coached in a national championship, let alone win it. And the fact that we get to break down what was happening. And you said that you just told that one story, or what's going on inside the mind of not only you, but of the team the morning of the national championship.
Yeah, I asked the older guys because I knew they could handle the capacity of the question, like, how do you feel this morning? Feel any different? Whatever. I really, truly believe that this is where hosting the event played a massive advantage to us.
100%.
Because to us, it was, we were waking up so in the weekdays, we wake up at 5:45, and those guys are at the tennis center at 6:45 a.m. We practice every day at either 6:30 or 6:45 till 9.
Okay.
So when they all walked in, I just kind of said, like, it's just another day of practice. It's just another day. We're in routine. Like, we were literally in routine. Because if we weren't in a tournament, we would have been showing up at that same exact time and running a practice. Sometimes when you're in the warm up, so like you're in the warm up, sometimes I get really tight when I watch like the starters hitting balls. Yeah. Because like they'll miss a shot and I'll be like, oh, they're gonna lose today. Like they're gonna lose. And
Yeah.
then they'll like hit an overhead and they'll win the practice point they're playing. And I'll be like, all right, we're good. We're good. They're going to win today. Like literally shot by shot, I'll be like on pins and needles. So
Stressing,
it was like,
no matter what.
yeah, it doesn't even matter. So we're like 5 minutes in, and I took the like 6 bench guys that weren't starting, and I just went to the third court and I just ran a normal practice.
Oh, really?
So I just let the guys that were in the like match just do a warm up by themselves, and they were like doing their thing, and I just ran a practice with our bench guys.
Wow. Does that
And then I
calm
looked
your
at the
nerves?
clock and I was like, oh man, like we got to like go to the bathroom and huddle because we play now.
Did that kind of help your nerves a little bit and kind of take your focus off the guys that were starting?
Yeah, totally. Because I'm definitely way at my best in habit. Like when things are in routine and I'm following habit, the same goes for our team. I mean, they are some of the biggest nerds in the world. I mean, all they do is study and play tennis. And when they kind of get removed from their routine and habit, they don't do as well with stuff. So,
wow. I like that though. It's simple for you guys. It's just 1 + 1 = 2 for you. And if one's not doing the other, it feels like you guys, again, that word routine. And one thing that I noticed was when I went to Middle Tennessee State, the day they played Notre Dame, ironically they lost, but I always remember the assistant coach, Andrea, he said, I feel way too good about this match. I have a feeling we're going to lose. I don't like this feeling, which is funny to say, because if you feel that good going into a match, you would have the confidence and kind of have that idea that, okay, we're going to take this in the end. But in the end, he felt nervous because he felt really, really good. Did you kind of feel that same way? Or is that kind of like something that you notice as well?
Thank God I didn't. But you're right. Like,
no, it's true though.
You're right. Like we get to a point where I'm looking at their lineup and our lineup, and if I want to like switch a spot because I think it might be a better matchup, and I'm like, oh, all right, we got the matchup I wanted. Then I'm like, oh well, we're screwed then, because that means it's not going to work. Yeah. No, the mind games are out of control. I mean, the referee moved my water bottle like 3 inches further away from the net post where I had set it down, and I had to go move it back over.
Just turn
I didn't
into
change
Rafa
shirts
mode.
the whole. Yeah, like I didn't change shirts the whole. I changed my outer layer, but I didn't change my inner layer the whole weekend.
Did you wash it at least, or no?
No. No. 3 days in a row. It's just like wacky stuff. And it's like, one of my players was like, hey, should we maybe do this? And I'm like, we're literally not doing anything at all different than everything we did tomorrow. Like, if you do something different, then you're the reason we lost. So good luck.
I'm blaming only you for this loss because you didn't have the one egg you had at breakfast. So I'm assuming you ate the same breakfast every day.
Yeah, same, everything. Where you put things down, like,
everything just had to be in the right place at the right time.
It's bad. It's like, I mean, it's bad. It's just
it worked. You really can't complain about it though. I mean, if it works, it works, and it gets into that mental state of staying kind of routine, like you said, and kind of going to the last, like kind of going into the players, like you said, for you kind of relaxed when you were doing the drill with the 6 bench players, but you let the guys that were playing in match to kind of do their own warm up. Is that normal for you, or is that something you only do for a tournament like this, or is this something that you started at the beginning of the tournament and then kind of let them run with it?
It depends on how many courts we have to warm up on.
Okay.
If we have more courts, then we'll just run a practice. Like the warm up is a practice. If we have less court space, then we got to be like creative with it. But I think the way we practice all throughout the week is very similar. It's everything's structured. If we do a drill, we go upperclassmen versus lowerclassmen, and it's like a knockdown, drag out, like pump it up, bring it. We don't want to lose to you. Kind of thing. So I think the guys feel in routine and in habit when they're doing that. So we definitely try to drill and prep that hour. is the toughest part of the day. And then the match should seem easy, because when you're playing a tennis match, right, you play an hour and a half tennis match, you're only physically actively hitting balls for 20 minutes at max, and the rest of the time is changeovers and walking around. Whereas we could practice for 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I mean, we don't even take group water breaks the way that we drill.
Okay.
There's never a huddle of guys together at the same time, unless I need to like yell about something. Like something's not going right or whatever. Like I'll tell you, on Wednesday midweek heading into national indoors, I asked them to split up upper and lower, and to start battling with each other. And the energy was like not good. It was fine. It seemed generic. And I just kind of I like went nuts. I'm like, you're literally, today is when you win, like not this weekend. Like you guys need to practice exactly how you're going to behave and what you're going to do this weekend. So I kind of went crazy. Lost my voice before the tournament even started, but
love it.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the key, like to us is the habit, the routine, just keep doing it. Keep going.
And I, for you, at least with the players, there goes my background light. That's awesome. So I have to turn this one up. That's really inconvenient for me. How would you describe your relationships with the players in terms of coaching each one? Because it seems like you really seem to trust a lot of the kind of juniors and seniors, at least for this tournament, when asking them about advice and kind of trying to get them to be on the same page as you when you lead this team. How would you describe your kind of coaching style to each player in that aspect?
Yeah, I think it's pretty common. You just kind of always assume the freshmen don't know anything at all. That you're just hoping that they do their laundry the right way. I mean, we literally had a couple of guys come back from a tournament in the fall and stick their clothes in a sink and use dishwasher soap to wash the.
There's no way they
shirts.
actually did that.
It happened.
Why?
These guys, they're so smart. They're getting like 34, 35 ACTs and A's and all these AP classes. And then second, you move them out of home and mom and dad's not doing their laundry and cooking their meals.
They're literally cooking their clothes in the sink.
Yeah. So with the freshmen, it's just like, figure it out. Like, we're not going to put any pressure on you. It's going to take you a whole year to figure stuff out. Now, the one thing that I will say over the past 14 years, because I mean, we've knocked on the door before, been to an Elite Eight, been top 4, but like the difference, I think, in now looking back in the last 15 years of coaching is just the same as a book that I read last summer about the common threads between great dynasties, whether it be the San Antonio Spurs or New England Patriots, whatever. The common thread is actually a really great captain. And your great captain doesn't need to be your best player. It can be another person, like, I don't know that Tim Duncan was always the best player for the Spurs or the most talented, but he was definitely the most reliable and he was the most, consistent. So, I think we're really, really fortunate. My upperclassmen, John Powell in particular, who's a 5th year, he's using his COVID year to play in grad school this year.
Love it. His
freshman year was a bad experience. I mean, we had bad leadership. And what you got to remember about Division III is we only get them, 20 officially by NCAA rules. We only get them 20 weeks out of the year, and then if you make it to the postseason, you get a little bit more out of them. But I mean, that's holy cow. That's more than half the year that you don't have them on court. Now you can do, I can meet with them, in the office and just see how they're doing and stuff, but
you can't do official practices.
Right. Yeah. Like, so, our guys obviously are really driven and they love tennis. So they buzz right through the off season, and 5 of them last summer lived together in Boca and just played Battle of Boca every weekend together.
Love that.
And they had virtual internships. So they practiced in the morning. They went 9 to 5. They all sat at computers in a house. And then they hit again in the afternoon, and on the weekend they played the Battle of Boca tournaments. So they all, they're all really committed and really driven. And so I give a lot of responsibility to the upperclassmen as far as leading the team. But that doesn't come without training and leadership training that we do, starting with their sophomore year. So we have a leadership program that we put our sophomores in so that they can start kind of figuring out how to be a great leader, so that by the time they're an upperclassman, they're really mature and ready to kind of guide the team. So it's no surprise that we've had last year NCAA finals, now winning the ITA indoors. It's no surprise based on the leadership that we've had on this team. That is the reason. And sure, like as the head coach, I kind of set the course, but it's the captains that are executing the plan, especially when I'm not around.
And that's funny you say that, because when you deal with, and it's not necessarily the best players, but some of the guys that can just truly lead by example and kind of lead, like you said, without you being there. And when you have two players like Chen and James, and you have two guys that have obscene amount of talent, especially James now, do you see leadership grow within players that may be ahead of the curve when it comes to talent level on the team? Does that kind of grow, or does it kind of vary in that sense?
No, I mean, and every kid's different, but I will tell you, like, every once in a while you get a freshman come in who's just way ahead of the curve. And for us, that's our guy at number 3 on Shaw.
Yeah.
He was admitted into medical school already out of high school. The program that he got into is the most incredible elite program, because they're literally offering you 18 years old. You have a spot in our medical school as long as, you keep a 3.5 GPA and you complete your degree in 4 years, then you go straight to medical school and you don't have to take the MCAT. So he is, wow. He's so mature, very driven, and you could tell, like, it was nationals and he was like the most confident guy on the court the whole weekend. And I don't know, the people that watch the live stream, I mean, it's just his behavior, the way he carries himself. It's like he was just kind of made to be in these, these bigger moments. So, with him, I'm obviously going to start leaning on him right away. As when he's a sophomore. So yeah, just it kind of depends on who that kid is. But I will tell you this, Phil, like, I spend so much time and energy on non-tennis side of developing these guys compared to the tennis side. Yeah. Because I think if I can get them to be 18 going on 25, like right away, then they'll know how to get after the tennis on their own. Oh, 100%. It's just about, like, not getting caught in those traps of typical undergraduate college kid at 18, 19. Yeah. And saying, no, I'm going to bed at 11:30 and I'm not going to waste 10 hours of screen time on Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. I'm going to get ahead on my work so that I can, get more sleep, so that in the morning when I show up for 7 a.m. practice, I can be like 100%. Yeah, exactly. And having that dedication, kind of this whole experience and talk that we've been having is kind of showing that dedication that you're showing, not only as a coach, but as a human and a mentor for these kids, and just being able to kind of have that overall impact on their lives that just doesn't involve tennis, right? Like, you're going to be more than just a tennis coach. You're someone that these kids can go to every day. Yeah, no, I mean, you teed it up for me there. And this is always my recruiting pitch is in our life. And I'm a father of a 3-year-old, and I'm, married, my wife, Julie. I am number 3. When I wake up in the morning, I don't get to do what I want to do. Yeah. I have to do really good at my job. I have to be really good at my job so that I can provide a great, situation for my family. I have to be a great husband, and I have to be a great dad. Yeah. So that's being great at 3 things. In college, we're only asking you to be really good at school and really good at tennis.
Yeah.
And if you can master those 2 things and you can get great at those 2 things, then when you go into the real world and it's time for you to have a job, you can master that first. Then when it's time for you to be a partner, you know, and whatever you choose, you know, whatever your lifestyle is, when you need to be the best partner you can be and be able to put yourself aside. And then eventually, if you end up having a family and that's what you want to do with your life, you already know how to be great at 2 things or 3 things at one time, because you totally dedicated yourself to the tennis and the school in the 4 years when, and I call it the express lanes. You just take the express lanes around what normal kids are doing, and they're staying in these normal lanes. Just go around. Like, they can drink cheap beer, they can stay up late and eat crappy pizza. You know, now you'll get ahead and you'll be able to buy better beer and better quality pizza when you're 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we should put your wife and kid first before the job, just so if she sees this, that way she won't feel below that. But I think
she's sitting there staring at me. I think we're all good.
I love it. But Todd, that's an unbelievable experience for you, and I'm very grateful that you were able to come on and talk to us about this. This is a plethora of knowledge and kind of experience that a lot of our viewers and listeners can kind of relate to. And congratulations again to winning your indoor championships and being a national champion now. And I can't wait to see what you guys do in the rest of the season. And good luck to you, your team, and your family.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. And I too am like really looking forward to what these guys will keep doing. I know they'll stay focused and covering everything that you're doing. This content and all this stuff is just so amazing for us to help these kids feel special, and that what they're doing is special, because that's what it's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do something really special. And to be honest with you, at the end of the tournament, every other one of the head coaches shot me a message and said congrats, and it meant so much to me, because I think that there's a mutual respect that in our conference, with all these high academic schools competing against each other, there's a high amount of respect for what everyone's trying to do. So I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. Like, it's great coaches, it's great players that are great people, and playing tennis at a really high level. So again, thanks for covering it, and everything's good.
No, thank you, Todd, and we can't wait to see what you can do. Thanks again. Take care, guys.